All right, we're working on a 2018 Land Rover Range Rover V8 Supercharged. If this is what you're trying to work on, check this video out. I think you'll get some great advice on how to do a spark plug and ignition coil pack replacement. So this vehicle's got a real pain, to work on. It really is a pain, I'll be honest with you. So right here we have our passenger side is what I'll be doing in the video today. It's the most complicated side by far. All the connectors are terrible. Nothing wants to let go. It's really tight to work in. But let me show you this ignition coil. I already have them removed on this side. I've already started a little bit here. You have your ignition coil plug. There is a white tab. It's actually a locking tab. So you have to slip that white piece back out like I did here. And then you can push back and pull backwards, and it will release the tab from each ignition coil. Before doing that, though, you must remove each one of the wiring harnesses that hold the fuel injector lines and the ignition coil lines. They're above each ignition coil pack. Please make sure you press each tab gently upward, and you pry it forward real gently on each one. Give yourself enough room. Right here, you can see I'm using a 14mm ratchet. That's what 14mm socket. That's what I'll be using today to get these spark plugs out. They are 14mm. I'm also using a U-joint and my short extension and wobble extensions to get in here. If you see in the video, I do use a lot of wobble extensions, and you definitely need them, especially when you're trying to remove these. I think it's a 30mm for each ignition coil pack. You have a 30 hex bit, so star bit. So just remember that 30mm star bit. So anyway, let's get right to it. You can see right here, I've got my extension and 14mm down in the hole where I'll be working, and we're working on getting this rear one out. If you can do the passenger side, you can definitely do the driver's side. Not a problem at all. Passenger side is by far the hardest. It took me about 20 minutes to do the driver's side afterwards, so I just showing the passenger side in this video. It's all virtually the same. You want to get the 14mm down in there. Make sure you have it on secure with the flex head ratchet. You may want to use 1/4 inch drive. I'm using a 3/8. Don't get anything too heavy duty, but this seemed to work fine for me with the U-joint and wobble extension. You can get it right in. So you got to get it in first right here. I'm going to break it loose, and then once I get it broken loose, and we start to move it out of there, then I'm going to remove the ratchet and just take it out the rest of the way with my hand. Now, I will say this. You want to start off by removing both sides air intake boot. I like to get that out of my way. You're going to need a little bit of extra room to remove things and get your arm in. Also, to get more space to work with. It really does help. I did it in this video, and it's just a little bit of extra room to give you the room you need. So, as you can see here, I'm getting this back plug out first because it is definitely the hardest plug. I would definitely take your time doing this. Make sure you're not going in sideways. Make sure you got it in there flush. Once you crack it loose, you can simply give it about 10-12 turns. And then, like I said, you remove that ratchet, and you should be able to go ahead and just spin it on out with your hand. Now, be very careful here. You can really make a serious mistake if you're not careful, and you can easily get in here sideways because of the angles here. So you actually want to lift up that wiring harness that's all together in your way and go underneath of that and into that ignition coil spot. And each one of these ignition coils kind of do move forward at an angle, so you want to check your angles, make sure you get it right. You don't want to round it off. You can see right there, I removed the ratchet, and now I am going in, and I'm going to use. Alright, so once you get down in here, you can simply remove the rest with your hand. Just simply keep turning with the 14mm down there on the spark plug, because not, you'll be moving that wrench all day long, trying just to get a little bit at a time. But if you continually just kind of spin it with your hand, you can finish getting it the rest of the way out. I found out this is a whole lot quicker, and you should be able to make this happen pretty quickly. Now, this is a very, very important tip to keep in mind. Please be careful. Don't drop your tools down this vehicle, because if you do, you're going to have to take off a lot of stuff to get them out. So keep in mind, unless you want to be crawling up and down from the car in the entire day, you want to make sure you have a magnet with you, a small enough magnet to where you can reach in and remove each spark plug after you get it loose. So right here, tell my gloves all ripped up. My rip-resistant gloves from Venom. I definitely took a beating, but they definitely got a rip already. But you know what? It's fine. They were doing what I need them to do. And now I'm going to reach back in here. I'm going to use my magnet and actually get my magnet in to get this out, to fish it out of there with. As you can see right here, try to get you a better view. She's a beauty, right? But, you know, let's see if we get this issue resolved. It's not going to matter. So you can see as I go back down in here, I'm actually accessing the spark plug. I'm just giving a few more turns to make sure we have it fully removed. And it's completely loose. You can actually look in there once you get it done. You can barely see it, but you should be kind of leaning to the side. If that's the case, you should be able to get a magnet in and get her on out. So I'm getting my tool back out right now. That's the tool I've been using. It's the tool I spun it out with. Once we get that back out of there, we can go back in. 14 millimeter. We can go back in here and get her magnet. And we can fish her on out of there. And be very careful, like I said, not to drop anything. Right here are some of the tabs that release the wiring harness right there. You have to push down and pull up on those. And I'm going to give you a good view here of the actual hole if I can. It's really hard to see that back here, but if you look right above that where that tab is at, it's one of the tabs that you have to pull up on. There's about 4 or 5 of those to release it. There's the spark plug hole right there to the top left. And that's where I'm going to be, you can see that little spark plug kind of fell to the side. So I'm going to reach down in there now with my magnet, and we're going to pull her out. Like I said, very gentle. I got my flashlight going above that harness, but when you're doing it, you're going to want to actually go below to get the spark plug in and out. But yeah, right there's the spark plug end of it. You can see it, just the tip of the spark plug head. And I'm going to pull her out here in 1 second. So, like I said, the main thing to keep in mind is don't drop your stuff down this vehicle. You'll have a heck of a time getting everything out of there. So, as you can see to right above it, you can see the spot for the bolts, for the star bit. I think it's a size 30. I'm pretty certain. Right here, I got my magnet. I'm going to take my time and going real easy here. I think I'm going to give you a couple different views of how I do this. Take your magnet, go in, grab the back of the spark plug right here. You can see as I go in, I'm going to grab it and gently pull it upward and out of there. Be very careful not to drop it down the hole of the car, and we're going to get it out real easy. I'll kind of slow this down so you can get a good look as I kind of just take it and pull it on out of there. So, not impossible, but definitely took me a good 40 minutes, I'd say, to get this guy out of here and get everything out the way and to get it out. That was probably the hardest part. I take a look at the spark plug. I like to keep all mine in order. It's a good idea to see what kind of shape your vehicle's in. And after we got it out of there, I think I should show you again one more time. I'll show you in the video how to pull it out. And there you go. And like I said, just keep them in order so you can check your firing order out later. And on this particular vehicle, it goes, if you're facing the front of the engine, you're going to go 1 on the passenger side, 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8 on the right side. So passenger side, 1, 3, 5, and 7. What we just got out was ignition coil 7 and spark plug 7. So we're going to move up here now and go to 5, then move up again and go to 3, then move up again and go to 1. So 1, 3, 5, 7 passenger side. All right. Now, I'm trying to think of a few more tips I can throw out there for you. Yeah, I'm just making sure I got everything cleared out the way. I think I'm trying to find the next hole and make make sure we have all of our tabs clear. Sorry, it was not the easiest job to record, so I'm going to go in with my contraption I've made. And we're going to go ahead and get number 5 out next. So we're going to reach in here. We're going to slip it in gently. I think you can go above or below here. I'm not sure it matters as much on this guy, but I tend to like to go underneath that harness so you're not stretching on the wires. No need to unplug your fuel injectors. No need to mess with any of that stuff. I simply removed all my ignition coil packs first, which were T30s. Torx 30-bit, removed all those, and then I came back, took all the spark plugs off. Ignition coil packs off, and then I went back, and now I'm taking each spark plug off one by one. Now, you may find it more helpful, depending on how you're doing it, to go ahead and, do it a little different than this. That's up to you. You can do, each one as you go. That way you don't drop anything down the motor. I found it easier to just try to keep my tools together. That way you can kind of rock it out, instead of having to flip back and forth from tool to tool to tool. You can do it differently. But if it wasn't for video purposes, I would have probably, kept every tool in order. So I would have removed, all the first wiring harness off, pulled it up out of my way. Then I would have got the T30. I would have took out all the ignition coil. So I would have started with the rear one, which is the hardest always. Start with the hardest one, and went 7, 5, 3, 1. Took out all the star bits, and then I would have, that's after you unclip them, of course. You want to keep them secure while you're undoing the clips, so you'll have a really tough time you're undoing them. I like to leave them secure, that way you can have something to pull the clips off with, and then pull out each spark plug boot, and then go back and take one spark plug out, put it back in, and then wrap that up, or just go ahead and just do what I'm doing here. So it's up to you. Right here, I just removed number 3. I've already got number 5 right there. Number 3 does have a messed up spot on this ignition coil pack. It's quite common on these Range Rovers. I actually had 2 on the other side with the same defect. So keep an eye out for that. That's not good. That could be losing some compression right there. It's not the worst thing in the world, but if you see that, you want to go ahead and replace it. So in this video, I only replaced 2 of the ignition coils. And what I did was I put the brand new one in the very rear. So if anybody else has to work on this vehicle, it'll make their life very easy. But yeah, this was pretty crazy. Over here, I'm just going over where I showed you how I've already loosened up all these tabs right here. Each tab, I've already pulled them loose. I've got them prepped, ready to rock. So I would come back and do that here shortly, but it turned out not even doing that on this video. This was pretty easy how it was. It's so easy. The only difference on the passenger side is, A, you have a lot more room, and B, the ignition coil fasteners are all on the bottom. So where the ignition coil, the T30s are, they're just on the bottom instead of on the top like on the passenger side. And of course on the driver's side, you're going to have 2, 4, 6, 8. So it goes facing the motor. If you count the front of the engine on the Supercharged V8, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So right here, I'm working on 3, I believe. Actually, I think I'm on the front one. So this would be number 1. So bank 1, in case you're wondering where your oxygen sensor's at, if you ever need to know, bank 1 is going to be on this side of the motor. So if you have any oxygen sensors as well, you would follow it down to find bank 1. Now sensor 2, da-da-da-da. So you shouldn't be able to figure that out. There is spark plug number 1. So if you have a specific misfire, this should help you also determine which and where your cylinder is at for that issue. And see, there we go. Got them in order. That's the one with the mess up on it. Would be number 3. So 1, 3, 5, 7, or 7, 5, 3, 1, and how I have them laid out. So now I'm going to go back. All right, so you can see, like I was saying, they're all in order. Right here are my ignition coils, and I'm going to go ahead and get them out. These are for import direct. exactly sure where he got them from. I'm guessing O'Reilly's, but hey, we're going to go ahead and get these on this car. And we're going to put them in the rear. So, of course, somebody else has to work on it. They're not going to have to do the most difficult ignition coil pack. That's already going to be done. So this should last a lot longer than the other ones. Now, it's a good idea maybe to do them all, but they're about $80, $90 a piece. So, I tend to only want to do the ones that I can see are defective. Right here is the spark plug. Customer wanted to go with the cheaper ones, and that is his decision. And I agree with him in this case. He had another issue going on with the vehicle. So, right here, I'll just show you as another way how I took one out. I like to always lubricate my, so what I do is I lubricate each one in engine oil on the end. I don't like to use that anti-seize. Very bad stuff. So, and there we go with the magnet. Very, very careful. After we put a little bit of that around there, we're going to dip it back. We're going to gently lay it back in, as you can see, into the hole real easy, so you don't drop it or mess up the tip. If you do drop it, you have to re-gap it. They should come pre-gapped. And as you can see, I show you right here, as I stick it in, I kind of take it and rub it on the lip of the engine where the spark plug hole's at, and it kind of knocks it off down into the hole. That way you can leave them in there. And now I'm going to take my 14 millimeter and we're going to go in there and snug it down with our hand first. Always like to start with my hand. There's the wall ball extension. And the U-joint that I'm using, it fits perfectly. This is why I'm actually using the impact socket. I know everybody's wondering, why am I using an impact socket? But the way this goes in, it fits better and leaves you less room for slipping and for, maybe, well, in my opinion, it's less chance of, getting sideways at it. And with this engine, how it is, I like that bigger socket on the end, the impact socket, because it prevents me from, I always start turning backwards a few turns, and then I start forward. But it prevents you from hooking it sideways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it in the hole. You got to take that piece off first. So you want to take it off, the one extension off, because there's not enough room. You don't want to get in there sideways. And now, once you get that piece off, you can start working it with your hand. Okay, not that hard to do. If you try to do it like that, you're going to maybe get sideways on it. So I actually pull that off, and I use my hand, as you can see here. I have it up above the extension. And then I'm going to lower it back down onto it here in a second, just to snug it up nicely. Zip, I have it out. I set it up there. I'm tightening it up with my hand right now, getting it snug as I can. Also making sure nothing's falling down in that hole. You're not getting any wires pinched in the meantime. You're not knocking that coolant. It's like a bleeder valve right above that for the cooling system. You can undo it, and I did do that at first, and coolant tried to come out, so I just put it right back on. It is a coolant type bleeder valve line to let the air out the system on these Land Rover Range Rovers, and it's kind of neat. I should have done a quick video on that, but if you ever wonder where that is at, it's right on that tube right there, a little bit towards the back. You can see it. It's a screwdriver to open it up with, and you can let the coolant out. So let me get back to where I was at. So right here, oh yeah, like I was saying, the customer decided to go with the cheaper Denso brand. I would have went ahead and highly recommend using the $24 NGK double iridiums, platinum tip, whatever this vehicle calls for. Use the nicest spark plugs. The vehicle likes those spark plugs. That's what come in them. And he wants to, but because of his situation, as I tried to explain earlier, sorry, he's having an issue. He might have locked this motor up. I don't know yet. I'm doing some research into that, but very well could have. So he wants to just go in and try this. The way it sounded, I really feel like his motor could be locked, but he wants to go ahead and do this tune-up. We'll do the tune-up. And I'm hoping it's not a locked motor. I really am. I really find it hard to believe. It's a beautiful car. Framed up. The crazy part is, too, I'll tell you something. These Range Rovers, Land Rovers, have no dipstick. They don't have any dipstick. You can't really read the oil. The only codes I got when I read the engine were for crankshaft position sensor, but it didn't really sound like that. It sounded like the motor was locked. But, I'll have an update here coming soon please check out the live stream also if you want to see me do this in real time. And make sure to like and subscribe if you like this stuff. I usually what I do is I take my live streams and I edit them down into videos now. But live streams I think are a lot more helpful and a lot more entertaining, to be honest. You know, you kind of get a real idea of what's going on instead of an edited version. That's kind of why I do this. You know, that's kind of why I started doing this on my channel, the live streams. I just do these videos because some people like videos, and you know, I get it. I'm one of those people too. I want to get straight to the point. But if you want some good entertainment, you can always check it out. Right there, I'm showing you where the ignition cool pack is about to go on to, and also where the spark plug goes in on the number 7 cylinder. Right there is where your T30 would go, that little hole above. And in a second, I'm going to be taking care of all that as well. I just want to go ahead and get everything done one at a time. So we're about halfway through this video for this passenger side. But yeah, it's pretty basic stuff. The hardest part is to get that one piece out of your way. It can be a real pain, I'll be honest with you. It really, really fought me to get those clips off and to pull that fuel injector harness and ignition cool pack harness up. So right now it looks like I'm going to be putting my first ignition coil back into cylinder 7. I put in a little dielectric grease. You can't really see it. I apologize for that. Just on that tip. And a little bit right there too. I put a little dielectric grease right there where the connector slides in. It makes it easier to get on and off later for someone else, or me, or whoever's working on the car later, or the SUV or the truck. You know, it just makes it easier in general. So trying to get any dielectric grease either all around the spark plug boot itself. Be very careful about that. So right here, going back in and getting this ignition coil pack into place to secure it with the T30. And I'm also going to show you how it clips back in. You know, I know I do mostly installation on this video. It was such a pain in the butt. I just almost didn't do a video. Then I said, heck with it. I didn't really see much out there on YouTube, so hey, why not? This is one of those particular motors that, you know, you see a few videos and it looks fairly easy, but there were no videos that show the supercharged one that I could find that was worth much to me to actually see and understand, other than a couple quick ones that didn't show any of this right here at all. So, oh yeah, there is one covered piece too, well, besides the breather for the air intake that I removed, there is a rubber cover guard that goes over each ignition coil pack. At the end of the video, I'll show you how that goes back on. I'll also show you here in a moment how to put each one of these spark plugs, the actual ignition, spark plug ignition packs back on as well. So just hang tight. We'll get to that part coming up. So right now I'm just getting everything adjusted and lined up so I can get that T30 bolt back in to hold that ignition coil pack back down. And I believe in a second I'm actually going to show you how to get this plug back on, if I can. I may not show you on this one because it's so difficult to see, but I actually pushed that spark plug back on. I actually edited this video down from about an hour and a half to, I think it's, you know, with this entire edited video, it still comes up to about 48 minutes, I believe. So, but I try to do my best so you guys can see what's going on. It's not easy filming this yourself and doing the work and not making mistakes either, and not dropping stuff down the motor. I did drop one or two things down. I was able to get it with the magnet, but you know, if you can't get it with the magnet, you're in big trouble. They got so many guards with so many bolts. That's why I said you really got to be careful. You don't want to drop things down this motor into the undercarriage. It's going to be a real heck of a time coming out of there. So right here, I'll show you where everything's at for number 7. And if you look down, you can see right there, looks like I've actually got the T30 back into place. I'm about to try to snug that up now. I think I do that with my ratchet. Now, I do not recommend using a power tool to snug up your ignition coil packs. They're plastic. You'll break them. I use this power tool all the time. I'm just taking some of the arm workout and hand workout. So I'm just zipping it down snug, and then I'm just going to snug it up. I know how to use this tool. I use it all the time. Other than that, make sure you use a ratchet. It's very difficult to get these bolts started, so they're very long. That's why I went ahead and just used my power tool. But it works fine if you know what you're doing. So if you're a beginner, do not do that. You will crack the plastic, and you will have a bad day to replace it. It's about $90 break if you do it. So right here's my T30. I'm going to use, about to stick it down here on the back side. It's very hard to get any view down here, so you may not be able to see me, but you can kind of see where I'm at. See if you can see me at all. Yep, I'm going to put it right down in there. I think you can see me snug it, but just barely. It's really hard. I think I'm off camera doing it, but there's one other thing I wanted to mention, and it's really kind of important. Another thing is, since these bolts are up on top, don't want to drop them down into the holes either. So make sure you get your your spark plugs back in before you try to put these bolts for the spark plugs to hold them down back in there. If not, you can easily drop them down into the holes of the motor, and you're in big trouble. So right here, yep, I've already got it snugged back. You couldn't really see. I apologize, but on the other ones coming up, you can see better of how I did it. So that one was back there and on the back. I'm actually going to show you right now how everything looks when it's snugged up. There you go. That is your T30 right there where it holds into place. Everything's in place good, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to move up to cylinder 5. Right there's the plug too for cylinder 5. We're going to go ahead and take it, push it into place. I'm going to take that little white clip right there, and we're going to snip it forward once we get it in. That is a tab, actually. So it's like a tab that holds that spark ignition coil pack. Spark plug ignition coil pack, whatever you want to call it, into place. So you kind of take it and just snip it back in firmly. You can hear it click, and then you just move on to the next one. Or you actually move on, and now I'm going to tighten it down. So I'm going to go up here next and tighten it down. Now, whenever you're doing each one of these, you may want to make sure everything's clear. So you may want to go ahead and plug each ignition coil pack in first. Okay? So, the only other thing I think I was mentioning was that cover on each side. There's like a cover guard, and kind of all tucks into place. As you can see, I have all my stuff still laid out in order, and I'm showing you how I go about replacing these. So, let's see here. Yep, this is the oil I've been using, just regular old motor oil. Take a little finger's worth and just rub it on all the new spark plug tips. And then there's the dielectric grease. Like I said, just a dab on the bottom and a dab on the top. Just enough to go inside the hole. I don't like to use that anti-seize stuff. It's terrible. No need to use it. Just use some motor oil. That's all you need. All right, now we're going to take the spark plug. And this one actually almost dropped it down the hole. You can see after putting it in, I lost it. Kind of jiggled out of my hand. Right here, it kind of falls out of my hand. So I'm using the magnet again, just to be on the safe side. As you can see, I kind of lose it, and it hangs onto the lip for dear life. And I was able to get it back in there and kind of kick it back into place. It was a close call. I almost lost that guy down the hole. You may want to go ahead and buy one more when you're doing this, a spark plug, just to have on hand. That way, in case you drop one down the hole, you can fish it out of there later. All right, so like I was saying, it may be helpful just to have another spark plug. Go ahead and get 9 instead of 8. In case you do drop it, you can fish it out later. So right here, as you can see, I kind of fumble this a little bit, and it gets caught on the lip. I'm able to secure it, though. We're all good to go. So, no worries. That problem was averted. So, I'll just show you a couple times here because it's kind of a tricky deal. You can see it kind of just have to realign the magnet to catch it. It almost made it to the bottom, but luckily we're all good. So, things to keep in mind when you're working on these cars. Really difficult to do. This is not a beginner job. If you want to check out the live feed, I kind of made it look kind of easy, honestly, but it definitely wasn't. I did prep some of the work in the area prior to doing this, so I'm not going to lie to you. I did get all the tabs loose, but, it definitely is a little bit of a challenge, so Let's see. I'm just showing you a few more of where the where the other spark plug is at for cylinder 1 and 3. So there's one right there. You can see right there's the spark plug tip. I think I've already got the new one in, it looks like. And right there is the other one. It's not quite in there all the way. I actually have to go back and slip him in. You can tell he's just kind of hanging on the lip. I'll pop him right back in though. So that's the last one. That was cylinder 3, and that's cylinder 1 right there in the front. So remember, firing order. Left side, 1, 3, 5, 7. Right side, 2, 4, 6, 8. And if you count it over from the front of the engine, like I was saying earlier, for the spark plugs, you have, for spark plugs go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 facing the front of the engine. So if you were to have a oxygen sensor on this car, let's say you got a code for P420. All right, P0420, you think it's, hey, an oxygen sensor. Let's just say you think it is that one. That's going to be, of course, probably not an oxygen sensor code, but just saying, it's going to be below threshold, which would be below past the catalytic converter. So upstream and downstream is mostly how you see them ordered and named. So if you have an upstream sensor, it's going to be before the cat, and downstream after the cat. Bank 1 is the same side as cylinder 1 on this vehicle, like I said, to the passenger, to the left side. Anyways, hope that helps. Right here we have another clip. You can see me clipping up another one of the ignition coil packs. We slide it in, click it, and then we push the little white tab that holds it into place. And this is going to be, I think that is cylinder 3. It could be cylinder 1, depending on where we're at. I've been rocking and rolling, but yeah, I'm just showing you kind of how you slip the tab, and you just kind of slip it in forward and snug it into place. So there you go. I got about 15 minutes left till this is completely wrapped up. That is cylinder 3 right there. And I just kind of line it up gently, because what you're going to want to do is actually get that into place here coming up if you can. So I highly recommend you getting that secure here in a moment, but don't make it too tight. So you just want to have some wiggle room. You can move that around to align it. I'm showing you right here. You want to be able to align that with the torque spit. The torque bolt that's secure somewhere. You want to make sure. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and slip in cylinder 1 in the very front. I'm going to plug it in as well. Show you cylinder 1. You have to kind of unplug. There's a little plug right here in the front too. I just pointed out that you want to kind of take something and pop that loose. It gives you a little bit more wiggle room for your wires. Maybe about another inch or two of play. And trust me, you're going to need it. It's a real tight clip that holds it on there to the side of that engine block. You can kind of just take something and pop it free. You can always snug it back in later. That's exactly what I did. So right here, I'm showing you how they come in and out of those, but I'm not doing that at the moment. I'm still working on the vehicle. We're going to pull those down, and we're going to snug up both of these with our Torx bolt and use our T30. So giving you one more good view of everything. You can see I got everything back in, everything plugged in. We still have 1, 2, 3 Torx bits left to go. 4 cylinder 1, 3, and 5. So I'm about to come back and zip the rest of those in, and then wrap up everything. That's me going in with one of my Torx bits. Gonna have it in my hand. Sometimes I like to have a magnet with me as well, so you don't drop it, especially in the back. I think I can reach these pretty good. I found out too, if you get towards the front of the vehicle, if you're facing the front of the motor, take your right hand, you can go in a lot easier, and kind of like I am now. So I switch positions in the front of the motor now, kind of going in, line it up with my left hand, the ignition coil pack, and I kind of can snug it up with my right hand and start the threads with my hand. Okay, and if you do that, it goes a lot easier, I think. Once you kind of get it going and started, as you jiggle the ignition coil pack, maybe put a little motor oil a touch on the back of that too. It'll really help as it goes into that hole. And then, of course, I just inspect everything. I think I'm going to show you real quick how I got it. So just inspect it. Then I'm going to take my T30. I'm going to go ahead and take it and snug it up. I'm going to zip it down tight, and you can see there it is, the T30. It's not snug yet, but it's in there perfectly. So ready to go, zipping it on in, and I've just got it just snug enough, right? There we got the next one coming up right there, and the next one coming up right there. So right now I'm on, that's cylinder 1, that's cylinder 2, and right now I'm on, 3. That was cylinder 1, cylinder 3. Right now I'm on cylinder 5. We're snugging it up. I've already got it snug. I'm just taking my wrench and giving it a little snug. Now, oh yeah, what I was going to mention, whenever you do these spark plugs on here, they are like Denso and NGK make the same type. There really isn't a torque spec on these. They have a crush washer on the end of each one. So once you get it snug, you just want to give it another like 90-degree angle turn. I know it's a little confusing. If you don't know about that, I may actually make a video explaining how this works. But it's like another 90-degree angle turn. You just enough to crush down that washer. That's all it is. You don't want to ever over torque a motor, but they make these NGKs and Denzos now with the crush washer on there. And like I said, you just take it and you snug it down and give it a little turn, and it'll actually crush that washer down. Now with these ignition coil packs, that's totally different. You snugging these up, you do not want to do anything like that. You get them snug, you give it another 90-degree turn, you go crack that thing right off of there. Trust me, don't do that. So take your time, use your head, don't over torque things. It doesn't need to be extremely tight. It's just a motor. You don't want to sit here and have to retap an engine block. But there you go. That's everything snugged up right here. On cylinder 5, we got it totally snug, and we're moving up to cylinder 3 next. So we're just going to go ahead, get to the front of the motor here, coming up again, and we're going to do the same thing we did last time. So take your left hand, kind of wiggle the coil pack, ignition coil pack back and forth with your hand as you stick the the bolt in with your right hand. Oh, right here, I just used my left hand. I think I got plenty of room. Why not? Let's see how I did it. I may have actually moved to the front here. I don't recall exactly. I'm just trying to get this done at this point. Yeah, I did end up. Let's see. I'm going over everything now just to make sure. But yeah, I just need to give it a gentle. I may not have actually realized that to the very end of the video, but from the front of the engine, you can get in a lot easier, especially if you're right-handed. But right there, let me see what we got. Oh yeah, looking good. So we have like I'm just showing some of the connector tabs down there. But yeah. Oh yeah, I'm making sure all the fuel injectors are snug. Make sure I'm not pinching anything. That's why I said it's good to plug in each ignition coil pack first before tightening it down. That way you don't happen to catch anything underneath of it. But it all looks in good shape to me. I think we're good to go. So I'm just going over everything, making sure everything's secure. Before I have to go back and take something back off, you don't want to have to do that. And thankfully everything looks pretty good. I still think I've got to snug down a couple more. I may not have even shown that. I know I did it, but let's see if I even show the last of them. Right now I'm putting everything back, it looks like. So I may have just gone ahead and skipped those last two. They're pretty basic right in the front. So you zip them back into place. Pretty easy stuff. Regardless, and when you're finishing up at the end, you want to check all your lines, all your connectors. Make sure you haven't stretched anything. Damaged it. All this stuff is very, touchy. It all goes to a supercharger. Any type of vacuum leak could have a major problem. Make sure everything, right here I'm pushing this little tab back down, and it's in place. It's a secure place on top of the engine block for that. And just go through and adjust all the other lines. Make sure the coolant line is tight. The one I did undo for 2 seconds because you don't want that guy leaking. There is a little connector here that runs up underneath here. You actually can push it up on that tab, and it will secure it from the bottom right there. And it kind of just holds that hose off if it expands. So, or actually, you may have enough room. I'm going to go back and do that in a second. But regardless, make sure everything is secure. Like I said, keep in mind, I'm going to go over all the tools right here coming up at the end that you'll need to do this job. It really isn't too bad. It is doable, but you definitely need some experience to do this. It's not for a beginner technician. It's definitely probably scale of 1 to 10, I'd say consider it the hardest things I've ever done in a long, long time of working on cars. Now, 20 years, this is probably like an 8, I'd say, difficulty level when it comes to specifically ignition coils. Right here is this piece I was telling you about. So I didn't show you how to snug those last couple ones up, but same process. Anyways, right here is this piece. It goes facing this way up. I kind of forgot, but I had to triple check everything to remember which direction it went. But I just compared it to the other side, and you can see right here it's got the 2 hose tabs, 2 little hose, yeah, right there for the hoses, for that one water hose that is like a like I said, it's like your bleeder valve for your cooling system, but that kind of goes right into there. You just kind of snug it into place. You want to stick that front piece up underneath the 2 lines in the front, the 2 air lines that go right there. It needs to tuck up underneath there. You kind of gently pull them upward and lay it in. I'll show you one more view of how this all goes in here. See those 2 lines in the very front, right there to the right, the plastic lines. You want to pull those upward and slip that up underneath there, like I do right here, I believe. Yep. And once that's back in place, you can kind of firmly feel everything kind of go back together, and then gently put the 2 lines in the front end, put that back line in, the center line, and then snip back all your other connectors. Now make sure all your other connectors are in first prior to doing this. I believe you saw me do that in the video. And like I said, this is just a process, so it's a lot of stuff to do here. This is just the passenger side. Now, hear me out. Driver's side is pretty easy. Pretty easy compared to this side. It still has a few things in your way. You still got to really get these plastic tabs off. That's the hardest part of the entire job, is getting those plastic tabs off. You saw me go back and push those back down a second ago. That's extremely difficult. It is one of the most frustrating things of the whole job, was getting those plastic clips off, because once they dry on there, they just don't want to come off. They really don't. So I had a real heck of a time getting them off of there myself, even without breaking anything. But I was able to do it. Maybe take a little penetrating oil and spray them down first, and then you want to pop them loose afterwards. So anyway, as you can see, I got everything snugged up. I'm going to go back here and kind of secure everything into place. And so far, so good. It looks like we're got everything situated and looking nice. So pretty impressed with everything. Definitely think things went well. Hopefully this vehicle starts. I'm going to do the other side because the customer wanted to, but I have a feeling something's going on with this motor. I've never seen anything like it, so I'm actually waiting on a call back to have more information. So if you have any questions, feel free, leave them in the comments. I urge you to like, subscribe, check out my live streams if you really want to see some crazy work all done live. Gotten pretty good at doing this stuff live, I'm not going to lie. I was really terrible in the beginning, but it's all a learning curve. I appreciate everybody on my page who's waited this out with me, and do my best, to bring you what I can. And that's why I've been providing more edits lately, because I feel like y'all really deserve it. Y'all have been hung with me through the through the learning curve, and I'm going to give back a little extra here. So hopefully I get some more subscribers for this Range Rover, and we can start pumping up on the subscribers and moving up in the ball game. As you can see right here, we'll just go ahead and I'm securing everything into place properly. Just kind of all goes back and making sure nothing got unclipped. I didn't stretch any fuel injectors, because like I said, it's very limited room. And voila, I think looks good. So all done there, like I said. So you got to put the air duct back on that one side, or both sides actually, if you're doing both of them, which you probably are. And I'm just checking the back to make sure that everything's snug. There is one connector in that back that you actually push down and it will snip back in place. I did find out it wasn't. I have it on tight, so you make sure you get that back one snipped down too, so no wires are being stretched. And that boot that goes right there, there's just an 8mm on both sides. So hold that down, you just kind of secure it, or a flathead you can use. Flathead screwdriver, just take them right off. So right here's the passenger side one. Already got it moved. That little piece right there, that little some type of valve or purge valve, I don't know exactly what it is, or solenoid, but that right there is kind of a pain. Kind of lift it out your way, it's not too bad. There's one behind it though in the rear that really sucks. So anyway, that's a wrap. Hope y'all like that video. I was hot this day, I was worn out. But yeah, beautiful truck. hopefully this thing will come back to life. I'll keep you posted. Right there's my T30 socket I used for each and every ignition coil pack. I did get everyone done without dropping any, which is amazing. That was the tool I used to zip them in and out with. It worked great. Like I said, passenger side is pretty amazing. You can get to it right from the top, real easy. Almost wish I would have done that too, because it was so quick. I was just getting hot and irritated right there about the boots. The only thing I had to remove. And right here are your ignition coil packs. Right there, 230558 import direct. And I put both of the new ones in the rear, of course. So it makes everybody's life easier. Here's my one I removed that's damaged, and also everything laid out in the proper firing order. So make sure you smash that like if this helped you. Share the video, subscribe, and leave a comment, because I want to hear from you. I want to see how much this, and if it helped you. I don't really make much, guys. I do this video for you guys, and that's it. And I kind of really don't have fun doing it sometimes. Sometimes I do. But overall, I try to give back. So make sure you show appreciation just by hitting the like button. It's not hard to do. And if you don't want to hit the like button, fine. It's what it is. But I guarantee you this helps somebody out, because pretty in-depth about how this is done. I edited it. I took a little time to do this. So I could be making a lot of money instead of playing on this editing software. I really can't afford to do both. So we're going to have to get this figured out one way or another. Alright, and as you can see right here, is the Denso plugs. I would highly recommend using the NGK. Like I stated earlier, this is what the customer wanted to do. We're having another issue we think going on, possibly a seize motor. He wanted to go ahead and get this done, so I obliged. Either way, I'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure you ring that bell. Check me out on the live stream, and hopefully this edit will be posted soon. Hope you liked it, and let me know what you like better in the comments. Videos, edits, shorts, I don't know. Keep me posted. Live streams. All right, peace.